We're looking live at the Bronco chase. I believe that is Derek Chauvin in the white Bronco. He says he's got a gun in his mouth. He's going to pull the trigger if they get any closer. But why do I think we're heading to some kind of Bronco chase here? Shattuck, let me tell you why this case is historic. Why I watched a lot of it yesterday. I commented on Twitter. Got a lot of blowback from some people because I think the defense did a better job than the prosecution in the closing statements, even though it was too long, always too long. I mean, these guys, don't they know? They know that people can't pay attention for 2.5, 3 hours to one guy. Don't they see enough movies? Don't they read Grisham novels? You're supposed to keep it tight. But I declared the defense the winner in the closing statements, Shattuck, but they aren't going to win in the end. Unfortunately, this is going to be an historic occasion, a national trial where the jury is completely affected, influenced by the mob. The mob is going to make this call. You heard analysts talking about evidence yesterday, breaking down the facts and the testimony. None of it matters. The reason the judge called out Maxine Waters is because he knows that mob outside, led by her and by Al Sharpton, and we'll get to him, the most obnoxious tweet in the history of Twitter, Al Sharpton yesterday. But the reason the judge called her out is because he knows it's a factor. He knows his jury is now sequestered, is sitting there going, I can't vote to acquit on anything. I can't even, if you give me a count, I'm voting to convict because I live in this community. This is jury by mob. This is verdict by mob, and it should scare everybody.
Right, and you say now sequestered, right, but not sequestered over the weekend where they were allowed to go home to see the riots in the streets. And there's one of the jurors lives in Brooklyn Center. So while Maxine Waters is there stirring up the crowd, absolutely, we would need guilty on everything or else we have to get more confrontational. They're seeing this stuff. You'd be crazy to vote not guilty on anything.
Here's the real, to me, the real notable thing here is they're going to vote to acquit. My prediction is they're going to have 2 convictions and 1 hung jury, and then the prosecution, because they never should have brought the case for third degree murder.
Yeah.
They never should have brought that case. They dropped it. The judge originally dropped it. The court reinstated it. So they know they don't have a good case. So I'm gonna give them this. I'm gonna give the defense this. They're gonna be a hung jury on that count. The other 2 they're gonna vote to convict. And if they don't, just on that, they'll be rioting. Just on that they don't convict.
Yeah.
No, consider what Maxine Waters did to earn the wrath of the judge, and by the way, be the number 1 topic on every cable news show in the world all day, all night. She called for the jury to convict Derek Chauvin of a charge he's not even facing. She demanded they convict him of first-degree murder. It's not even a thing, it wasn't premeditated. Even the biggest critic, Chauvin hater and fan of the prosecution, has to admit that they're not going to put him away for life, which is not good enough for Mad Max.
Only some people are even reporting that Maxine Waters, Auntie Maxine, sorry, Jerry, she's Auntie Maxine. If you listen to Yamiche Alcindor,
right.
The people aren't even reporting that in wide scale. That she came up with a charge that's not even there. Of course, then people won't hear it because it doesn't exist. Yeah, they have set the table. I think no matter what, there are problems.
Yeah, but here's the biggest problem, Tommy, is you and me. I'm not going to blame the jury. I don't think the jury is basing this verdict on the evidence entirely. Certainly not all 12 or all 14 of the jurors aren't going to base it on the evidence. Some of them are going to base it on the mob, and I don't blame them. They essentially already know where they live. The New York Times was doxing them, attempting to dox them. We know a lot of people have doxed the juror who's from Brooklyn Center. So they're and if they don't do what the mob wants, it's the next day, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, outside their houses. Their families are in danger here. Yes. This judge is, screwed this whole thing up from the beginning because there's never been a case that cried out for a venue change like this one. I honestly think you get a different verdict if it's in Idaho or Rhode Island than if it's in Minneapolis. They know what'll happen, not just to their neighborhood, but to their house, to their home, to their family, to their cars. And they don't want to take any chance. And to be honest, they look at Chauvin and they say, he's a bad guy anyway. I don't need the evidence. He's a bad guy. Let's put him away and let's get on with our lives. We can't take any chances. Do you blame a juror if they think that way, if they vote that way?
No, this is the biggest civil rights, racial reckoning case we've ever had. This is bigger than James Earl Ray, and it's because it's been constructed and it's been manufactured by media and these crazy activists that everything hangs on this. This right here, this is the litmus test for where we are on race. So if you're a jury member, no, Jerry, hell no, you absolutely convict on everything. Anything you can find, convict them for arson if you can, whatever it takes.
First-degree murder. Let's get him.
If you're lucky, you'll get
that
pig's
blue
blood
tie
on
and the
your
blue
door.
shirt yesterday. That was pretty bad.